All right, so, Joe, there is some coaching news that is among us. Tom Allen is taking his talents from Penn State to Clemson, the DC, the former Indiana head coach. I got to be real with you. I love it. I love it if I'm Clemson.
Oh, obviously.
Well, I correct. I think that Clemson was one of the worst called defensive teams in the country last year.
Yes.
I really do. Tom Allen is they're coming after Garrett Nussmeier game one. I like this. I like this addition. I got to be real with you.
It's obviously a tremendous hire, and knowing Clemson's limitations this year, they had a lot of good defensive talent, actually a lot of elite defensive talent that didn't play up to expectation. And they've got great players on this team, and they're bringing in high-quality transfer portal players that I have hyped up to say that I think that they will win the ACC, knowing what is on the line and what Cade Klubnik can do. First of all, by the way, was extremely off last offseason when this hire happened for Penn State. I said this was a bad hire, and I was blatantly wrong. This defense was tremendous. It was unstoppable throughout spurts of the season. They held Ohio State in check when they played them. They were a really tough out, and it's what kept them in games when their offense was really struggling. But from the Penn State, Tom Allen side of this, and I posed this question on Twitter, and everybody just matter-of-factly was commenting the same thing over and over again. I asked, what makes this a strong move for Tom Allen? This is a lateral move. I don't think that there are vastly more resources at Clemson than there are at Penn State. I don't think that this is a vastly better opportunity to win a national championship than it is at Penn State. You just got to the Final Four. Clemson has not been there in some time. Since the Trevor Lawrence's last year was the last time that they were in striking distance. No, that was 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
2020. That was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to get at here is this deal has to be enormous. They must be giving him tremendous control, and they must be giving him a lot more money in order to make this decision to leave. Or James Franklin is just so difficult to work with. That's where I'm getting at here is there something that we're not being told? Is there something that we're not understanding here that we don't know about? Because the whole circumstance of jumping from Clemson to Penn State does not feel like it is a job that is a step up. It is not a job that you take like you're trying to take the leap up, the step up in your career. I would think if you were to leave Penn State, it would be for an NFL job or it would be for a head coaching gig. I can't wrap my head around this. It doesn't make any sense.
I went to just check very quickly if Tom Allen had ever worked with Dabo. It doesn't look like it.
No, they haven't. That's the weirdest part about all this. They've got no connection.
I will admit I know yesterday we got very tabloidy and we were just kind of joking around. I'm not trying to be very tabloidy here, but you're right. To the normal fan, the register goes up, like the antennas go up when a coach goes from Penn State to Clemson, mainly due to the fact based off of the season that they just had. And quite frankly, the only way that you were getting through some of these games was on defense. And I know that you had super freaks. But that's the goal anyway. The goal is to get super freaks in there. Last time we talked about Clemson, you talked about Will Helt, you talked about Peter Woods, you talked about all these pieces. Well, shit, I'm not saying that Will Helt can be that, but you said that he could be the sack leader in the ACC next year is what you had said.
In the country. He could be the sack leader in the country.
Okay. If that's even remotely close, then for a one-year deal, I don't think it's lateral. Because I do think that he's trying to get himself back to something. But my antennas go up for another reason. To what you said, this is crazy to me. You don't normally see this like this. And Joe, to be on the Monday after you got your ass whooped, I say you got your ass whooped before you lost.
Right.
I mean, like, it screams something went on in that locker room. I have zero proof. But I got to say this, though, too. I don't know enough about James Franklin. I don't listen to him. I mean, but, man, he's had some good people on the staff, right? Like, it doesn't seem like there's always been this kind of situation. So I don't also want to throw him like that on him either. Our thing about James Franklin has been, what goes on the field.
Right.
We're not talking about like the players must love him. You know why? They keep coming back.
That's true. Also, I mean, this helps when you're trying to come back and there's an NIL check
the number
coming your way.
4, the number Kuiper's number 3 and number 5 running back.
He had Keatron Allen as the number 5 running back.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I pray to God that's
that's
incorrect. And Singleton, yes, Keatron Allen is a day 3 pick. Keatron Allen coming back makes complete sense, but we're going to get to that in a little bit because he's not going to draft it high. Get the money when you can.
We're not talking NFL. I'm just saying that's what I'm trying to. He's still a really damn good college running back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Brother man. Like I don't want to put that on him either.
Look, I'm not accusing James Franklin of doing something scandalous. That's not what I'm saying. The lack of results on the field for them to finish in big games has been the talking point that we've had. And you kind of wonder, like, what goes on that they can't finish in these areas? What goes on in the weeks? What goes on in the weeks of preparation? That's the obvious answer from this year. But like, he is a long
year that it hadn't been.
It's a fair point that they have not had consistent high level.
The only NFL quarterback that he's had in McSorley, they beat Ohio State that year. Continue. Sorry.
What I was trying to get at here, Blake, is that their backbone has been defense. Their backbone has been high-level defensive performances. Manny Diaz just leaves for the Duke job that he was offered after putting out one of the best defenses in the country and recruiting a lot of premier talent. And Tom Allen takes that and runs with it to produce another elite defensive team that was incredibly well-rounded. I think what you're saying here of the timing of this isn't like they went to the ReliaQuest Bowl and they had 4 losses and it was an underwhelming, disappointing year, and you kind of just leave thinking like, oh shucks, what could have been? And Tom Allen's
then you would be saying that it's an upgrade of a spot,
right? Right. You'd be saying to yourself, oh, this makes sense. Tom Allen sees Clemson's on the rise and there's a good opportunity. But Penn State made it further. Penn State was the better football team. Penn State had more talent on it than Clemson did this year. Again, I'm not trying to accuse James Franklin of doing something and being bad behind closed doors. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's just very odd to me that this is the result after you just made it as far as you did and your defense carrying as far as you did, that he is now leaving and choosing to go somewhere else that is not exactly a guaranteed destination for success.
He was the DC for Hugh Freeze. They had moderately good defenses there.
Right.
So, I mean, he's done it everywhere. He did it when he went to Penn State. I mean, ultimately it got him and he got fired, but that's a whole different Hugh Freeze problem. I mean, look, I understand. I'm with you. I get what you're saying. I just something had to draw him there. I'm not going to throw that on James. I think he's going to have some serious pieces at Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
As an LSU fan kicking off with them game 1, I'm terrified at the exact moment.
I mean, and you should be. So, like,
but you don't know what he's going to throw at you. You have no clue. Not with these pieces, you don't.
Right. I think that for Tom Allen, what he did this year plays in very effectively. To take the Clemson angle here for the remainder of the segment, knowing that Penn State had a lot of athletic linebackers this year, got really good production out of their linebackers, and fed off of their defensive line, getting a lot of their production. That to me is a really big green flag. Basically what you said at the very beginning of the segment, like, this is a great move. If you need an upgrade at your defensive coordinator spot, don't go and hire somebody from a mid-level program. Go steal somebody straight away from a top team.
I mean, it makes the most sense. And he's a good coach, man. I mean, he's a good coach, so we'll see. But
let me ask you something before we move on here.
Okay.
What do you think James Franklin should do to rectify this? Do you think that he needs to steal his own big-name defensive coordinator?
Sure, but it doesn't matter. You know who you bring in there? The right guy for your system and your place. Here's the thing I'd say about James, man. He got Tom Allen. Now, he didn't have him. He lost him. You got Andy Kotelnicki from a guy who Andy Kotelnicki knows a lot. He stole him. The dude's
Right.
this is a whole nother thing in this. My man has legitimately put some really good staffs together.
He has.
Manny Diaz, and look,
He's had some bad OCs though. We got to just point that out.
okay, that's fair, but he's been there a decade.
Right.
I mean, like, you're gonna make mistakes. I mean, shit, you can't look at Nick Saban's last coach at OC and everybody clowns on Tommy Rees. I mean, like, it's going to happen. But there also comes a place for Penn State. I didn't think, or I didn't mention that we thought that we'd get to this segment. I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
I'm trying to. So
You know who you go get?
Who?
Oh, this is gonna piss some people off.
Oh no.
I'm legitimately going to Auburn.
And who
Durkin back in the Big Ten. Do you think he's ever welcome back in the Big Ten?
I mean, that's
debacle at Maryland.
Probably not. The immediate thought that I have though is that he hires a lot of defensive coordinators that were former head coaches. I'm looking and trying to see like who fits that description, and there's nobody. They waited. This happened so late in the cycle. They could have had Ryan Walters, who was fired at Purdue when was at Illinois and just took the Washington job, which we probably should have talked about when that news broke. There really weren't any big names that were fired that were defensive coordinators.
Well, that means you got to go take somebody.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what direction this goes in.
Yeah, you got to go take somebody. That's what it means. I mean, shit, you're Penn State. We are. I mean, you're not a small program. And you know what else you just got? Let me tell you what else you just got. Joe, they just got $40 million to play in 3 playoff games.
Well, they don't get to keep that.
They keep 20 of it.
Wait, that number's off.
No, go Google it right now. I promise you're going to get $20 million of extra TV revenue money. I promise you it's going to happen. That's what it's going to say. They're not sharing it. Every team gets $20 million. Go look it up. Ross Dellinger reported it because I talked about it last week on AYS. Please, God, go look it up.
I'm not going to look it up right now because it's going to we'll end up sitting here.
It's literally in the Google headline. It's literally in the Google headline.
Oh, look, all I'm saying here is I think that James Franklin is probably going to be motivated and directed to look for a former head coach. I don't know who truly fits that description that's currently out there and available. There's also not many other Big Ten defensive coordinators because Minnesota just lost their defensive coordinator to Miami. D'Anton Lynn's probably not leaving USC. That actually wouldn't be a bad hire, though. Try and go get D'Anton Lynn from USC would be a pretty good option. That
would be a fantastic hire. You know that you're going to get a good run defense,
right? And that's a better situation if I'm D'Anton.
You're right. It was $20 million throughout the entire. Here. It doesn't matter.
You still get a lot of money, but you're not getting $20 million.
The number still works. You can go get somebody, buy somebody out with the extra money that you just got in TV revenue.
Right. And you're also, again, you're Penn State. You've got an abundance of finances to work with.
Yeah.